Check 1 2 and mic check 1 2 1 2
Check, check, check.
and we are live in 3 2 1 boom. Hey there.
What's up?
Yo, so here we are, Break Free Worldwide podcast number 1. My name is Jeremy. What's up, everybody? This is Moy Rivas.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling out there? Appreciate y'all tuning in for the first episode of Break Free Worldwide's podcast.
Yes.
Podcast.
Yes. And I'm Jeremy, Executive Director, General Manager of Break Free Worldwide. And we're excited to be here. It's a beautiful day. Well, not really beautiful. It's raining.
It's kind of raining outside.
Yeah, but we're happy to be here. Episode number 1. And you guys are in for a surprise. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I think if you're watching, this is our first episode. Obviously, we're gonna have a rocky start, but we wanted to get something going and build a platform there you guys can listen and tune into a lot of the great things that are happening within the community and even the bad things. We want to be able to talk about everything, but I know today's episode we wanted to talk about the history of Break Free and where we started. I know, Jeremy, you wanted to start it off and kind of just take it upon yourself to just kind of share your story and how you came about Break Free. And then we can just kind of organically flow. You know what I mean?
Yep. So if you're watching, you probably know what Break Free is about already. If you're joining us and you're not a dancer, you're not into hip hop, welcome. We hope to give you some insight on what we do. But the short story of it, we are some dancers from Houston, Texas, who through our love and our passion, we've able to develop something sustainable to provide for our families, to make a living, and to do this for 20 years plus, 10 years plus. I've been dancing 12 years. I call Moy one of my biggest mentors and teachers in this dance. This dance, what we know as breaking. And Break Free is something that, if you guys know about it, it's an organization that primarily operates as a dance studio here in Houston, Texas. But from my side, and I know Moy will attest to the same thing, it's more so of a lifestyle and a vision, something that we live by and something that I personally carry over into everything that I do in my life and not just breaking, So my story starts with Break Free in 2012, January 2012. And this is the time where Break Free was already rocking for 6 months. And even before this, backtracking, Moy was one of my biggest dance teachers since an early age, since 14 and 15.
Along with your brother.
Along with my brother Palmer, who eventually will be a guest on this podcast, and you guys will learn his story. But to just kind of encompass and to let you guys know what's to come and what this overall theme of the story is and what Break Free is about is, I started off as a student. And I'm still a student. I'm still learning, but I've grown and I've developed, and I think I've actualized my potential through the learnings of Break Free and through the mentorship of Moy and many of my other mentors. But I think that's overall what Break Free is about is, the full circle of mentorship to teacher and positive hip hop culture and creative expression. So, as of now, I'm general manager of Break Free Worldwide, executive director of Break Free Houston. I'm able to dance and travel around the world and inspire people and, get lots of messages from people around the world saying they love the way that I dance. They love my artistry. And backtracking before, when I even knew you and I knew dance, like I never even thought I would be an artist, Like I loved hip hop and I love hip hop culture, but I never thought I would be hosting a podcast. I never thought I'd be running a dance studio. I never thought I'd be speaking in front of thousands of people. And I can attest all of that into what Break Free has taught me, So
for sure,
I like to use us as an example, the two main figureheads of Break Free, as what the vision and what the goal of Break Free is to impact lives and to, take people to the next level and actualize their potential. So I remember it was January 2012. I was working at Sprint. If you remember, yeah, that was one of my jobs. A lot of people know that story.
Yeah, real quick, I think a lot of people kind of see us, just as b-boys, but beyond that, and we'll kind of get into that. But we do have, other personal lives, that we live. And
I used to work overnight at PetSmart.
Yeah, so
Stop going.
I think yeah, right before you came on to Break Free, you were working at Sprint, and then you were doing stocking or something like that at
That was
PetSmart.
later. That was later, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember you gave me the call, and this is the time our relationship was already established. You were teaching me dance, but you're like, hey, I can't pay you right now, but you know what Break Free's about. You know who I am, and I would love for you to come on board and help teach and spread this message with me. And that time I was hungry to travel. I was hungry to, share my art with the world. But at that time, I remember I was shadowing you in classes in around Houston. And before you even started Break Free, I was just going into your classes. And I remember even my wife, Kelly, now, who was, when I first met her in 2011, 2012, she was coming to classes too and tagging along with me. And that kind of, all these years later, she's my wife now. We have 2 beautiful kids. So it's crazy to think about that. But, I was under your mentorship in breaking, but not only in breaking, but in life. You as a father, you as a husband, and then as a teacher. So 2012, I came on board. I remember, our first classes, we had 1 to 2 students that came on board with us.
Yeah, I remember when we started, we were teaching, you said 1 to 2, but I remember specifically we had about 4 students for about like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And that's all we had, And I think, people see Break Free now and kind of the growth of Break Free, but, it was a lot of work. We faced a lot of adversity, but, just through continuing the mission and the vision, we were able to succeed. And that's why it just, even talking about you, dang, it just brings back so many memories because it was tough. It was tough, I literally told you, quit what you're doing and come support Break Free with, not knowing what's going to happen next. But for me, that's kind of how I always live my life. And that's what I love about just life in itself and the vision of Break Free is that sometimes, we take these risks and the beauty is we don't know what's going to happen next. But I think that's our artistry. That's where our artist and creative side kicks in, that, we freestyle things. But, that has also come back and kicked us in the butt, just doing business, because in business,
as we go.
Yeah, you need strategic planning, organization, and all that stuff. And so we were able to balance both out. But it's crazy, man, to hear you bring that up. And I know we've kind of briefly talked about it, but we're 2018 now. 7 years of doing Break Free. I started Break Free in 2011. Had no idea of where it would actually go. I mean, I would think about and dream about where it could go, but didn't have no idea of where it could. And kind of just where we're at now. Obviously, very fortunate to be where we are, where, we're creating a platform like this for, for listeners and viewers to tune in and just kind of hear our story and what we talked about, but not just our story, but other people's story and people that are connected to Break Free, the hip hop community, the dance community, et cetera, et cetera. But, just for everybody that's tuning in, if you just came on right now, this is Break Free Worldwide, first podcast. So, very first one. So, there'll be some mistakes. There'll be a little bit of rocky, but.
Nah, we flawless, baby.
My name's Moy Rivas.
What you talking about.
That's Jeremy Pena. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the history of Break Free and how it started and where we're going. But, just, keep on.
I mean, I remember, when you told me that, I can recall, like, I knew there was going to be a lot of work ahead. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but I was all for it because I was hungry, I was passionate, and I had belief and I had faith in the vision that you have. Even if, along the way, we might have differed on some things, and even in the beginning, we might have differed on some things. The core message of Break Free and spreading positive hip hop culture and, building a sustainable lifestyle for artists to, particularly within this breaking culture, to make a living off of and to give back to the community and teach and build a new generation of artists and leaders. Like, that's what got me going, and that's what wanted me to commit to that. And knowing that there was going to be a lot of work to be done, I was all for it, And
just to piggyback off that, I remember you being a kid and you came to my house and you were practicing and you were struggling. You were struggling. It was so hard for you. Like, it was very difficult. And I remember I pulled you aside.
Super whack.
I remember I pulled you aside and I told you, I said, dude, you're going to be really, really good. You're going to be better than these people. You're going to be better than this, just because your work ethic. And like I said, piggybacking off what you said, and that's one of the main reasons why I hit you up, because being the type of person that I am, I'd like to surround myself with people, regardless of their age, but people that work hard. because that's contagious.
Yep.
And I needed that at Break Free, and I think that you also needed it in your life. And so I think that's why we came up, became this powerful duo that was able to accomplish a lot. But at the same time, we had our struggles, we had our fights. I think I nearly fought you, I don't know, maybe at least
2 or 3 times.
No, like 18 times. But it's good because.
By the way, comment who you think will win in the fight on the chat. We're gonna tally it up and see.
But I think that's the cool part about it, because if it was just always agreeing to the things that I did or me agreeing to the things you did, I think that'd be a problem.
Yeah.
So it's good to have disagreements.
Always been honest with each other, and
And I think that's what helped Break Free even grow faster,
Yep.
and especially when we kind of figured that out. But I want to talk about something you talked about, creating something sustainable. And with Break Free, that has definitely been a goal, is to create something sustainable. We come from a culture, a community that's, very raw, or what people consider street, and there's no opportunity with it. But, it's always been a goal to create more opportunities for our community. Sounds corny, but that's the absolute truth. We want to be able to offer more, whether it's, to be instructors at Break Free hip hop schools, whether there's breaking, DJing, graffiti art, MCing, we offer it all. Or building amazing partnerships like Monster. We started
Shout
working
out Monster Energy.
Monster Energy. We started working with Monster early 2011 locally here with my boy Ty and D-Ray, and then just slowly started just kind of moving in. I remember in 2012, I kind of wrote a proposal and was like, let's try to get something going, like a B-boy program with Monster and Break Free.
This is how the Monster B-Boy program
this is how the Monster B-Boy program started. But the reason why I'm talking about it, because it's always been a part of Break Free. People kind of see it now, and it's just like they kind of see it standalone, but it's always been a part of Break Free because that's the foundation of it, right? And so I remember, writing a proposal and pitching it, and Monster was like, nah, we don't do that. We only sponsor extreme sports or whatever. And so I was like, I told Ty and D-Ray, and I was like, send me a hat, or I'll go pick it up from the warehouse, whether it's a hat, a shirt, or a sweater, whatever. And I started traveling around and just kind of rocking it and posting it, hashtagging it, and it kind of manifested itself. But even with that, even though it was a process, again, it was hard work, and so that's why I want to shout out Monster Energy, because, they believed in the vision of Break Free from the get-go. They started sponsoring our events locally, and then on a national level, where we started growing a bigger event. And then now we got a B-boy program that we manage, and we're able to also extend more opportunities to other B-boys and B-girls. Shout out to Maka, who's the first Monster Energy B-girl. But that's all has been through the foundation of Break Free. And for everybody that's tuning in, they kind of see Break Free as just kind of a hip hop school, but we've kind of become this like global agency of representatives and ambassadors for artists, athletes, whatever you want to call us, So it's always about extending opportunities. And so through Break Free, Monster, and shout out to any other company that is creating these opportunities, but more, I just want to, kind of give ourselves a pat on the back, because it takes a lot of work. People don't get to see the grind, the adversity that we face, these obstacles, these challenges.
That's why we're doing this, to kind of shed some insight.
Exactly. And that's why this podcast is so important, because, we get to share that, and people get to see this other side of, who we are personally and kind of what we've been through. I know we can't show visuals, and I think maybe eventually later on we will, but right now, it's just important to talk about it and let everybody know. So we appreciate you guys tuning in.
On the topic of sustainability that you mentioned, how Facebook has memories, right?
Yeah.
You can check and see what you posted 2 years ago on this day. Whatever. I've been checking it a lot more than recently, and I noticed a lot of my posts, and I really like this function of Facebook, because you really get to see just exactly, the work and everything that you have showed up to this point. And a lot of stuff, of course, me being involved with Break Free since 2012 has been popping up, and a particular status that I wrote about sustainability within Breaking specifically popped up. And the overall message and overall thing that I was pushing was that I think B-boys and B-girls in particular, they have we have a lot of similarities with rappers and hip hop culture and MCs, Obviously, on a financial level, rappers are on a whole different level with it.
Wait. Speak for yourself, Papa. You know what I'm saying? We over here making money. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
we're making some good money, but not some little pump
I'm
money.
just playing. I'm just playing.
Tekashi
Go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is, rappers make money because of their marketability and their charisma and their image.
Yeah.
And I think b-boys and b-girls have all of that. You know, I think
For
we
sure.
have the charisma, we have the image, we have that star power. But I don't think we've capitalized. Of course, they're selling a product, but rappers, even these modern day rappers, they have a certain sense of professionalism that people don't respect, you know? And
Yeah.
I think within breaking, a lot of people like to down modern hip hop culture and all these rappers nowadays. And it cannot be your cup of tea, but I have to respect, you know, their business sense of things. And
Well, I mean,
how it's rapping is a sustainable culture. Like,
But
you can get in there and make money right away.
at the end
you
of the
know?
day, with whether it's graffiti art, MC and DJing, breaking, it's evolving. It's changing every single day. And so it's part of the story. It's part of the journey, you know. Even from like back then, I'm sure there was b-boys or rappers that didn't like where things were going, but it's evolution.
Yep.
You can't stop that.
But what I think-
but hold on real quick. But it's important that there's the right people in place that are becoming these leaders and ambassadors for the culture. So whether you think it's changing for good or bad, it's gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep changing. But I always, you know, like what I always tell everybody, like whether when I do workshops or I go speak somewhere, or just talking to the homies, you know, it's important to know that we're the representation of hip hop. So whatever people want to call it or whatever people want to say,
Yes.
oh, it's going here, it's going there, then we be the right representatives for it. We need to be the right representatives for it. And I think that's what we're doing.
Yes.
And we're freaking human beings. We're going to make mistakes. Everything's not going to come out all perfect and dandy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But we have to acknowledge and if you want, adapt to the change.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to get left behind.
But I think the key thing that b-boys and b-girls need to realize is, in addition to this star power and charisma and all of this marketability and this coolness and rawness that we have, that we share with rappers and other elements of hip hop culture, is I think the factor that separates us from them is our willingness to spread knowledge and educate and give back and do mentorships and give back to the cities. And while there are rappers and there are MCs who do that work, I think that's, you know, ever since I came up and when you taught me and your teachers and your teachers' teachers, like that's been engraved in b-boy and b-girl culture, is each one teach one, you know, giving back to your communities,
Yeah.
grassroots education. So, you know, I like to think Break Free is a great example of how we merge, you know, that star power, that charisma, that rawness, that cool factor, along with educational aspects of giving back to our community. And I think, you know, not that this is a sort of competition or anything, but I really think b-boys or b-girls have the opportunity to overtake rappers and MCs in terms of popularity and star power, because I mean, it's genuine. Like, everything that MCs and rappers do can be genuine, but when you're giving back to the community and when you're putting children and a new generation first, like, that foundation is always going to separate you from the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that in Break Free's aspect, and able to represent an organization that has both of those elements. That's something hard. That's something that's
Right.
hard to execute. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I just think that educational components, whether it's hip hop or anything else, is extremely important, you know, because that's how people get taught things. If not, we're going to have a lot of people just kind of wing things. And so it's important to create platforms that are going to be educational for the community, especially for aspiring artists or people that are just kind of joining hip hop. And there's already all these misconceptions. You know, it's important for people to step up and try to create and teach, you know, these changes or the history and all that good stuff. So, you know, definitely I think Break Free is at the forefront of trying to do that and kind of be an example of leaders and ambassadors for, you know, just educating. And I know there's a lot of people doing it, so I'm not saying that other people aren't doing it. I just think we need way more people to focus on educational component. There's a lot of big events that happen around the world, and I don't think a lot of these big events have enough educational components. More workshops, more seminars, more discussion panels, even more workshops that teaches young dancers, young artists how to be professionals. I think that's the difference, is that, you know, what sets someone apart is the professionalism.
Yeah.
And so as long as we learn to be professionals, that's really, really important. I think that's always going to give us that extra push moving forward to accomplish bigger and greater things.
Yes.
The lack of professionalism right now, it exists. It exists, and it's not to blame anybody but ourselves, because nowadays, 2018, we have the resources and the connections to learn more on our own and just continue to do more on our own.
Yeah.
So and especially with schools like Break Free, and shout out to all the other schools I know off the top of my head, like B-Boy Factory,
House of Dance,
Minnesota. The Beacon, and there's other
Kid Glide with his stuff.
Yeah, Kid Glide and his stuff in New York. But there's a bunch of programs that are teaching, and that's important. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's youth, young adults, or adults,
Yeah.
it's important.
Not to mention worldwide, all the programs in Asia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a ton of resources, and it's our job to make sure that everyone's getting educated, because if not, we're always going to be looked at these guys who aren't valued or don't know nothing. You know what I mean?
To kind of tie it back into like the vision of Break Free, and something that you personally as a mentor have always taught me, is just to put your head down and work for something that's just and righteous, and something that is true, and something that you really believe in.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like for the B-boy scene and the B-boys and B-girls in this culture, we tend to get caught up in the negative aspects and honestly things that people just create in their heads, and this drama, and we tend to focus on things that in the end don't create a more sustainable culture and a more healthy culture for us.
Right.
And as a young b-boy, I remember being caught up in that stuff myself. Like, why am I not getting flown? Why does this person get flown out? This person's a biter, this and that. The things that tend to be categorized as the raw aspect of this dance. But I remember you would always tell me, like, drop that, Jeremy. You have bigger things to worry about. Drop that. You need to worry about this. You need to focus on this. Focus on your family. Once my children were born, and once I started putting that first in my mind, and I really started, because I always believed in the vision of Break Free, but I think there's levels to belief and there's levels to faith.
I agree. I agree.
And a lot of people can say that they believe in this culture and they have faith in this culture to do great things. And when I say this culture, I specifically mean this breaking culture.
Yeah.
But 100% belief and faith, from your time to your energy to your actions. Like, that's the levels of faith that I'm talking about. So once I started doing that and I made moves from my heart and I stopped worrying about the negative stuff, is when things, I just found peace within myself, and just things started happening great.
And nowadays, with social media and all these other platforms, it's so easy to get caught up in something. You read something and all of a sudden it's like, man, is that directed towards me?
Yeah, man.
So
crazy.
Yeah, you can't get caught up in that. We start to, like you said, create problems that don't exist, and we do that ourselves. And if you start to focus on that too much, it's going to be hard to move forward. It's going to be hard because you're so focused on what everybody's saying. You're focused on who you're not pleasing, or what move you can't get, or what job you didn't get, or the opportunity that somebody else got that you didn't get.
Top 16.
Yeah, you're dwelling on things that, who cares? As long as, like I told you, as long as your head is down and you're working for it, eventually, whether it takes a day, a year, or 10 years, as long as you keep working, you're destined for a result, a good result, But most people, they once they don't get it their way, it's like, I said, I'm done, I'm out, and that's not cool, Things take time, You've been breaking how long?
12 years.
12 years. I've been breaking 23 years. The opportunities that you have now, I'm getting them with you.
Yeah.
I'm getting them with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a blessing. That, like I said, we're very fortunate to be in 2018 and see where breaking is going and everything that Break Free is doing, sponsorships, endorsement deals, Olympics, or whatever. Like, there's all these different things happening, whether you like it or not. That is the evolution of it. And again, I've been breaking this long, you've been breaking that long, but we're walking side by side trying to accomplish it. And back then I didn't have nobody, or we didn't have these opportunities to try to walk towards, because they weren't even thought about.
Yeah.
We would get down at house parties and battle people at clubs, and do a dance competition against a dude that was juggling, a girl that was, shaking her butt, and you know what I'm saying? And then you'd win a trophy, and that's just the honest truth. No, I'm serious. Like, that's how it was. But now there's events dedicated to this. There's big prize money. Again, there's sponsorships. There's all this stuff. So, dude, it's crazy. Like, we have it made, and I think the younger generation that's rising has it made. And as long as, again, we continue to push forward with the right ideas in place, making sure that nothing changes in a negative way that affects the true representation of hip hop, then we'll be all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Break Free for me has, again, always been that ultimate representation of that sense of working hard and speaking on platforms. Like, that's a word that's used a lot nowadays, platforms. Like, social media is a platform. Monster Energy is a platform for artists, a great platform for artists. But Break Free has always been that platform for me that's, it's myself. Myself is my platform.
Yeah.
And my hard work and my foundation I build for myself is my platform.
Right.
And it never compromises any of the artistry or the rawness of the culture, or takes away the spirit of hip hop and the spirit of breaking. None of that is ever eliminated. I think that's something that a lot of young artists, young b-boys and b-girls need to understand. And honestly, once you realize this, all of the negative aspects when it comes, because people badmouth things, are they're worried about the Olympics and if it'll take away this or take away that. But what people need to realize, if you really love this culture and you're really in this, then you know that the spirit and the essence will never die. I'll always be dancing in my garage. You'll always be dancing in your, as long as we have a garage in Houston, Texas, we'll be breaking in it. You know what I'm saying?
Breaking.
As long as there's parks, people will be getting down. As long as there's good music, we'll be getting down. These things like the Olympics, these things like Break Free, these things like Monster Energy, these things are just additional things that boost and only just take our culture to the next level and to a mass level.
Breaking will always be breaking. Breaking will always be breaking. That's never going to change. You can call it a sport. You can call it a dance. You can call it an art form. You can call it tiddlywinks. You can call
that one personally.
You can call it whatever you want to call it, but breaking will always be breaking, and no one can change that. No one can change that. Even the media back in the 80s or whatever called it breakdance, and people still use that term, but the true heads know it's what? Breaking, b-boying, b-girling. That's what it is. So, man, people are going to make mistakes again. But as long as there's people like us on these platforms, again, the word that everybody's using, as long as it's us that's on it, then we're going to educate. Yeah. And that's why the educational side is really important. It's not always just
ties
about
everything together.
Yeah, it's not always just about you looking at things the way you want and not, no, it's about everybody. There's enough out there for everybody. But again, there needs to be more of people trying to step up and educate, because if they don't, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle. And so,
it's about longevity. It's about ensuring that, for generations to come, people carry on not just tradition, but, feelings and vibes and the essence of this dance and the trueness of it. And, dialing it, rewinding it back to kind of the history and timeline of Break Free.
Yep.
We
got carried away.
No, I came on board 2012. And, we started humbly. We started with very few students. And, to kind of put into perspective, too, like, Moy, you've never had a job, like a 9-to-5 job, right?
No.
It's always been you travel.
I mean, I worked with an organization called Youth Advocates.
Of course,
I worked with TBH, but it was always something to do with
grounded in hip-hop culture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not like me, who's worked at PetSmart. And
yeah.
Construction.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that
real
later.
Man. You know what I'm saying? But I digress.
Oh, real quick though, another thing too is, I get asked a lot, like, how did Break Free start, or how much did it cost? At first I didn't know what it was going to cost. I had, I think, $5,000 to my name, and that's what got it going. Yeah. So you can start anything with whatever you have. Yeah. Again, you just got to have the right people to get you there. Yeah. So. Just for everybody that was kind of interested in that, I had 5 G's to my name.
Initial investment.
That initial investment that, started what is becoming a worldwide agency today.
Yes. So, I mean, humble beginnings, very few students. We didn't really have a sense of business. We kind of were learning as we went. That was 2012, 2013, and as the years go by, things are picking up. And I think they started to pick up because of the foundation of our passion and our program and our teachings. We might not be good, we might not have been good businessmen, but we certainly were good teachers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have a lot of students.
Well, we're passionate too, so
yeah.
I
We're
know
pretty good.
A lot of people don't say passion don't pay the bills and all this other stuff, but at the same
It's an
time,
investment.
it is. You have to be passionate, you have to be committed, you have to be loyal about a vision, and we both had it, and I think that's why it aligned so well to be where we're at today.
And I mean, it was hard. We could detail so many specific instances where things looked bleak in the beginning and we didn't know. And I think that's pretty much the point. A lot of people ask, I know you probably get a lot more questions like this than me, but a lot of people ask how not just how did you do it, but more specifically in the moments where you find trials and tribulations, and whether it's financial or with your family or just within yourself, what keeps you going, and what makes you continue and gets you out of that. And I think it really just falls down to your belief in what you have in your heart. And if it's something that you can know deep down in your heart, this ain't gonna work out.
Yep.
Or if you have something that's great, So if you're out there and you're wondering, at the very lowest level, I want to start a dance studio, and maybe you did start a dance studio and you did it for 6 months, but then you stopped because you only had 4 students.
Yeah.
You have to find a way, I know everyone has their circumstances, but build with those 4 students.
Yeah.
And if you can't build with those 4 students, then you don't deserve 8 students.
Exactly.
You don't deserve 12. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Once eventually you have those 4 students and they're starting to shine, that attracts more attention. It's like everything it's a snowball effect. That's how the universe works. The more love you give out, the more passion you give out, the more money you give out, the more it comes back to you. That's just a law of the universe, and we definitely experienced that in the beginning. We definitely experienced that in the beginning with the very few students we have. And
I remember specifically coming to Break Free, and there was times I would show up and the lights were off.
Yeah.
Because we didn't pay the bill. There's a lot of moments like that I remember very vividly, and I would sit on the doorsteps and be like, dang, how am I going to get these on? I had to figure it out, because I was already committed to providing a space for B-boys and B-girls and whoever wanted to come in and get down. I was committed to doing that, right? I was committed to doing that. And so I remember I would sit there, and if I had to ask somebody, I would hit up, hey man, can you help me out? I got you back, or something. There's no shame in it. That's part of the story. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the story. And I remember there was a lot of moments where we went through that, So don't see Break Free like it never had all these downfalls or challenges, because I speak to a lot of people today and they're like, man, Break Free is killing it and all that stuff. And it's great to hear. It's definitely a boost of motivation, because I know that people are seeing the work that we're doing and where we're going, man. But it was tough.
Yeah.
I would text close friends and family and be like, I can't do this no more. I just can't.
Yep.
Because the little money that I was making was going towards Break Free. I just bought a house for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I just did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I could never do it before, because anything that I was making was going towards,
right back.
it was going into Break Free. So there's a lot of moments that
and to be clear,
people don't know,
Just to say that's, this might sound bad saying it out loud, but in the short term, that was putting Break Free first before your family.
Yeah.
But in the long term, it wasn't, because you knew you were building a sustainable future for your family.
Exactly.
With what you
and that was the toughest thing that was hard for me to get across to my wife, and I'm gonna apologize to her, and I've apologized to her. If she's watching, I'm sorry again. But at the same time, it's hard. I'm sorry, Roxanne, I love you. But at the same time, it's always been tough, because again, the vision wasn't given to her; it was given to me.
Yeah.
And so I had this idea, and again, I didn't really know exactly where we were going, but I had this big dream.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great example though, because everyone might not have a wife, but everyone has loved ones, and everyone has something to prove to somebody.
And somebody, whether it's a close friend or family member, relative, they're always telling them, why you keep doing that, or why you doing this, or why you doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many people told me that. You know, and a lot of people that told me that haven't been able to accomplish what I've accomplished at my age. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about this the other day, and this has been a thought that's always been in my mind. But like, I think b-boys and b-girls rely so much on cosigns. So instead of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so whenever we get a cosign from somebody outside of the culture, it's like the biggest deal. The
Yeah.
biggest deal. You know, b-boys count it as a victory, and it should be counted as a victory. But I think it's a small victory, because I think the biggest victories lie within us boosting ourselves and us putting ourselves on that platform. And if we want to get to the level we want to get, we're the only people that can do that.
Yep.
If we rely on cosign so much, and even on a lower level, like skill level, like, you know, there was a certain point, and whenever I teach and I teach my students, like, there should be a certain point where they're starting to question the things that I say, you know?
Yeah.
Not in a way like where it's attitude or anything, but it's like, all right, Jeremy taught me this. Or I remember thinking Moy taught me this, but if I want to develop my own style, and if I want to separate myself
Yeah.
from Moy and develop my own style, I have to start thinking independently,
Yep.
and I have to believe in myself. I have to co-sign myself and bring out what only lies within myself, and that can't come from a cosign.
No.
And then we go to a higher level on a business sense. Like, you can get a cosign from somebody outside of this culture, and that's great to do, and that you should do that. But what are you building that's going to push this culture forward?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why just accountability. You know, accountability is everything, and you know we're big on that here. That's the culture of Break Free, making sure that we stay on top of each other. Sometimes, you know, it's hard when you know, whether I get on you or you get on somebody else, or you know, you get on me, and we talk about our mistakes and what we
I
did
get
wrong.
on you.
Yeah, not like that, but. But listen, like it's one of those things that it's tough, because you never want to hurt your friend's feelings, but you know, without, you know, being real and 1000% like spitting facts, like you're gonna stay stuck, you know, and you're gonna be complacent, and you know, that's why, you know, the culture of Break Free has always been about accountability.
Yeah.
You know, and we haven't been perfect at it, but we're trying.
Yeah.
And we know that we got each other's backs. So everyone here, I think we've all done a better job of making sure that we don't get emotional, right? That we keep it business and we get things done. Because at the end of the day, it's that end goal.
Yeah.
It's that job that we need to get done, or it's that project, that program that needs to be executed correctly. And I think that we've all done a great job. The entire Break Free team here currently has done a great job of not letting things be or get too emotional.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So, going back 2013, I remember I got an opportunity, all the way from Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, Leaping Feet's dance studio. So, basically, Daniel Zhu from Stance, everybody.
Oh, that came. I didn't know that. It came from Daniel.
Yeah, well, he promotes it every year. It's something I think that's really slept on, and I think for the past year or so they haven't. They've contacted a local dancer, but before that, Teo from Now or Never crew, originally from Korea, he was a teacher before me, and it's basically this dance studio in Whitehorse, which is a town in the Yukon Territory of northern Canada. It
Yep.
borders Alaska. Population, last time I remember when I was living there, was 26,000. There's a dance studio there called Leaping Feet, and they have a student body of anywhere from like 150 to 200 students who take breaking classes. So they also offer ballet, contemporary, modern, everything, jazz, tap. But there's this awesome breaking program, and a woman by the name of Mrs. Simpson Fowler, Andrea Simpson Fowler, who's the facilitator, the head director of the studio. She has a son named Riley, and growing up, his friends from their groundwork sessions, GWS crew, they took a liking to breaking, and over the years, it's kind of developed this program into this awesome example of a breaking program of what it should be. So Daniel Zhu from Stance, he always reposts us, and it was an application process where you submit a resume, you submit a video, and you had the opportunity to go for 10 months and teach at a studio up there.
Yeah.
So I remember Mex One, rest in peace to our good friend Mex One, he recommended me to the program through Daniel, and he said, Jeremy's a perfect guy for this.
Yeah.
And I remember submitting my application, and I actually was the second runner-up, but then the first guy dropped out. And they came to me and approached and asked me if I wanted to go up there and live there for 10 months.
Right.
And I remember it being a very, very difficult decision. Like, I remember Mex giving me the opportunity and like, man, this is good pay. This sounds dope, but I'm here at Break Free. Like, I don't want to leave Break Free.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me, like, no, you need to go and take that.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was tough. That was tough for me to say because like you were my right-hand man. You know what I mean?
You with, not as much help as you need.
Yep.
But you kind of, I like to use that as an example. Like, you knew the time was right for me to do that.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome experience there. For 10 months, I was able to go and build with the staff up there, build with the students up there, see the beautiful, and I honestly learned so much from how she runs business, and I was able to take that and come and apply some of those concepts here.
Yeah,
if you remember when I came back, that was one of the
we did that switch, and so that was cool. So I remember like the day specifically when you told me, and I was like, dude, you got to go. You got to go. You got to take this opportunity. I told you we'll figure Break Free out. If it's meant to be here, we'll figure it out. It'll be up and running. And I remember you came back. You would make a few stops here and there. I think you visited maybe twice.
Yeah.
In like
Christmas
10.
and
Like in 10 months.
Came back for Break Free, the jam, and
yeah, exactly. So you visited twice, and that was cool. But I remember you coming back, and I think personally for myself, you got that boost that I wanted you to go out there and get.
Yeah.
Because you were so used to a certain thing one way, and you went out there and saw a different perspective of business, of breaking, of life, because there's nothing in the Yukon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, look, there's a lot, but a lot of wolves, a lot of bears.
And you saw a Wolverine.
A Wolverine, yeah. Google Wolverines and how vicious they are.
Anyways, but
Walk a mile in my shoes.
You came back and you were just like hungry and ready and passionate to make a change for the better. And I remember you came back and you were like, hey, I know we're all about the community. I know we're always doing this, but we need to change the structure to this. Hip hop school.
That's what I came into play.
You were like the lead guy for that. And I've always told you, I said, dude, I got your back, right? You've always had my back. And I remember you said that. I said, let's do it. I didn't even question it. There might have been little things that I questioned about the kind of the framework behind it, but we got through it. You know what I mean?
But it was essentially shifting. Break Free in the beginning was really the first name for it was Break Free Community Center. So you say this all the time in your videos when you detail the history. It's like you started it as a place for people to come and get down to, as a safe haven and an inspiring environment. And it still is that. Yeah. But that was like the number one thing. That was
real quick. It still is that because every Monday and Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. we offer free open sessions for anybody.
We start live streaming and commentating on.
Yeah, for anybody. So if you're from the Houston area, you're tuning in, or you're ever in the area for traveling or whatever reason, just make sure you know that Break Free Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 to 10 p.m. Always open, always free to the community.
That's right. So we made that switch when I came back. And real quick, the takeaways that I took from that experience, something that I've heard, and actually Little John and his wife told me this. Shout out to Little John. Straight up raw, Little Juan. But this is something him and his wife, who've been also great mentors to me, and something that really stuck to me as a teacher, told me. And I remember when I got this opportunity, they really were telling me, hey, you need to go and do that, Jeremy. Like, that's a great opportunity for you. They told me, you, as a teacher, you can only take your students as far as you've gone.
Yep, exactly.
So that really stuck with me, and that, at that time, 2012, 2013, I was battling, I was doing this, and, I might have had a good name back then, or whatever that may be, but I knew as a teacher, I had to experience something. I was teaching 30, 40 hours a week
Yeah.
I've never choreographed shows. I choreographed 2 shows, like
Yeah.
full scale productions, and I had never done that before. But I needed to do that in order to come back and enact that in my own life in my hometown. You
Yeah.
know, so that was one of the biggest takeaways, and that's something that I always tell teachers when I talk to teachers and they ask for advice is you can only take your students as far as you've gone. So
Yeah.
that influenced me in taking that decision, and then in retrospect, when I look back, man, like. I remember looking back and I was in touch with you and I would help you with things, but I
Yeah.
mean, you kept Break Free running, like, and then I know Chris, who's our facility manager now, Cosmo, he
Yeah.
came on board during that time and he helps you a lot.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, when I look back, it's like, man, I've always told you this too, is that Break Free, the vision of it is so righteous, it's so strong, it's so passionate that no matter what happens, no matter obstacles it endures, it will always stand the test of time and it'll always be here. So
Yeah.
no matter, I'm not saying like me leaving was this crazy obstacle, you know,
No.
but like
No, but like again, it's
you were still leveling up.
it's part of
Like,
the story, man.
You were still leveling up. I remember, you know, we were in the first location. You got the second location. You painted the floor. And the time that I was gone, I was like, dang, do you guys even need me?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember Kelly walked in too. And she was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went for
Best-
that contemporary look.
The best thing that happened was Jeremy leaving.
But you know, the thing is that regardless whether we make mistakes or we go through things, it's always a part of the story. I don't regret anything I've done in the past. Yes, I look back and be like, man, I could have did this better.
Yeah.
But you're always gonna do that. We do a battle today or tomorrow or this weekend at Silverback Open. Shout out to Silverback. If you guys know about it, it's happening this weekend,
We in the
Philadelphia. You know what I'm
Hide
saying?
your kids,
Arena
hide your
Theater.
wife, hide your cat, hide your dog. We're coming for you.
But check it out. It's just like that. It's just like even if we battle this weekend and we're gonna come back and watch the footage and be like, oh man, I could have did this better. That's part of the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So don't feel bad about like the stuff that you go through. And I remember, dude, it was rough. It was extremely rough, you know? But we did it. And like you said, I have no choice but to level up. Especially the person that my parents taught me to be. I've always been committed to something. If I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it regardless of what it takes. And you know that.
Yep.
Like we do things like next level. We gotta set the standards. Even this podcast, we created a set for it. You know what I mean? Check out the set, you know? So it's like you know that but for
We got
us
this from WWE. They sent it over from their Hell in
Shout out to
Cells.
Booker T.
Shout out to Booker T.
now it's actually our next door neighbor.
Yeah, shout out to our metal. If you
Shout out
guys
to
need-
Trey
Yeah,
from
shout out
our,
to Trey from Metal. 9191 Weekly Drive, metal.com. I don't know their website.
Yeah, I don't know the website either. But check, you know, it's like that. It's just setting standards, man. It's about, you know, going that little extra mile, going above and beyond to do things, you know, and not get so caught up in, oh, let's just do it to whatever, you know. No, like we want things to look good. We want things to be executed well. We want our sponsors to get shine. We want, you know, to leverage our individual brands, Jeremy, Moy, like, and also, you know, put out that example out there for the community for people to be like, dang, you know, like it's cool what they're doing. Like maybe we should do it too, because we don't want to be the only ones to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's always about leveling up and making sure that if you are committed to something, that you go all out with it. You go all out, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't always have the money to create something or do it, but we found a way. We did it anyway. I remember at one point we were on the street like selling bottles of water.
Yeah, with our kids.
Yeah, like
our advanced kids.
like-
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, thankfully we don't have to do that no more, you know, and I wouldn't mind doing it again. Like if that was what we had to do, we would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, those are beautiful moments of Break Free that people don't know about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we were on the street with our students trying to raise money to keep Break Free open.
Yeah.
You know, and people are ashamed to do these things.
It was for that reason.
It was
to keep Break
it
Free
was to
open.
keep Break Free open.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We weren't getting anything because even what we would make would still fall short, and we
Yeah.
would have to find a way to do something, whether it was like a weekly event or something, right?
Yeah.
But now, again, I want to shout out Monster Energy because now we do Monster Night every month, free for the community.
Mhm.
We give away a cash prize, right, to the one-on-one winner. That's every month, you know, and that's again we've
Packed
worked,
house.
yeah, packed house, all, you know, just
All
people
eight.
having a good time, you
Yep.
know. But the important thing about it is that that comes from us. It stems from us going through those phases of working hard and trying to raise money to keep the vision and the dream alive, but now we're here, and now we got, a sponsor that supports the community, supports us, but also our work ethic, so like we're always constantly trying to build and create something for the future of this community, but also for the future of Break Free. Like, we're nowhere near done.
Yeah.
We're constantly working on things every single day. People walk into the offices sometimes and they're always like, what do you guys do all day? But man, if people even knew the workloads that we have, then they'd probably realize why I'm not responding to their text messages or their DMs,
or why we're successful as we are.
So yeah, it takes a lot, man. And so, another reason why we do this podcast is to encourage, everybody out there just to continue to do more and more and more and more. And not to be these goofballs up here that just kind of just goof off, but at the same time, like, yo, whatever it is that you want to do, just do it and make the best of it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen in a day. And if it does, man, amazing. Good job for you. But how long it takes, like, just keep going. Just keep going and keep doing it. And I was having a conversation. I had a meeting earlier around noon with my boy Cocuts, and I was just telling him that, like, him and his friend, her name is Stacy, that 99 times out of 100 times, someone is going to tell us no.
Yeah.
But that one opportunity, that one yes, is all we need to boost us or get us to another level.
Yeah.
And that's a truth.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, you have to do it. The worst someone's going to tell you is no. Even when we do things now, when someone at Break Free comes to you for an idea and you're like, no, not going to happen.
Yeah.
But at least they're coming to you with an idea, or at least you're coming to me with an idea, and vice versa. We're doing these things, but again, like, the worst anybody is going to tell, the worst thing anybody's going to tell you is no, but we just keep going, keep going, find a way. And that has been the story of who we are, right?
Yeah.
And even to this day, like even earlier, we had some obstacles with the hip hop school programming and how we wanted to fix that, right? But we fixed it.
Yeah.
We got it done quickly, right? Rather than getting lost up in it.
The hip hop school programming and what it is now, it's vastly different from what it first started as. And I want to use that as an example of how there's always work to be done. And to give perspective, like, we've gone through so many different trials, and honestly, it's part of the reason why, like, we have certain members who have come with us and who have left for whatever reasons. But ultimately, I think I can issue an apology to our past members because we didn't really fully have what we were learning as we go, as I was saying.
Yeah.
So the honest truth is we were switching up programming, and that can be a hassle to parents sometimes, but it was in order for us to fully get what is right and what is sustainable for everybody and what will make the students learn the best. So we had this grand idea at first of what hip hop school would be, and it was a school of hip hop where all 4 elements were to be taught, and every single student who came would learn all 4 of these elements. So for a while, Break Free was operating where the only option to sign up was you were coming in and you were taking breaking for 30 minutes, you were taking DJing for 30 minutes, graffiti art for 30 minutes, and you were taking MCing for 30 minutes. And while that was great, and while that sounds awesome, like, as I say it out loud, I'm like, man, that's crazy, that's dope. It wasn't sustainable, and it didn't work because some people, you can't force people to take what they don't want.
Exactly.
And as a business, going on the business side of it, like, you have to offer and you have to give the customers what they want. And we, as we have an awesome DJ program, and Marcus, DJ Main Event from Houston, he's the one who started the DJ program, and we have an awesome local producer and DJ who came on board, DJ Bruce Wayne, who's also on board with us now, who's really spearheading the DJ program and growing it. But there are some people and parents who just want DJing. There's some parents who just want breaking, some students who just want to dance. We can open that up and offer that for everybody. But I love to share that story because at first, we thought, man, this looks dope on paper. We want all these kids to take all these elements, and it was an idea that didn't work.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
But how many of those ideas did we have where it freaking sounded amazing, but it just didn't work?
Yeah.
And it
but
worked.
We tried. Yep. So, another big moment and event in the timeline of Break Free's history as the time we were doing this hip hop school programming, we got a location in downtown, in the Heights specifically, which is like one of the biggest areas of Houston, an affluent area, specifically in the Arts District, the biggest Arts District in Houston. And we got a really good warehouse there, and we built a really dope location.
Yeah.
Some of you guys might be aware of it. And we enacted this hip hop school program that eventually didn't pan out just because of the programming in itself, and it wasn't sustainable over time.
Yeah.
But a big moment, an event in the timeline of it, is we did the 24/7 Cypher.
Yeah.
And that was basically a fundraising campaign. A lot of people knew about it, and a lot of people supported. We raised $30,000 in a
Yep.
matter of 50 days,
Yep.
where we danced 50 days straight.
Yep.
And that was literally 50 days straight with the help of, a supporting cast of so many people around Houston who
Yeah.
believed in the vision, around the world who donated. And that was an amazing moment. And
Yeah.
when I think back of it and all the people involved, I'm just super, super grateful for everyone. And even if they may not be, within the organization, or maybe not even support us nowadays, like that part will always be in my heart. And that's something that's, when I think back to it, it's crazy. Like 50 days straight, we were dancing in
And I remember
and
setting
setting up camp.
I remember sitting down. It was me, you, Jesse Germ, and we were just like, let's do this. This is what's gonna happen. 3 days later, boom. It's like we decided to
in a matter of 3 days.
Yeah, we decided to give up our entire personal life and dedicate ourselves to raising money for Break Free. And we had this huge goal, $1 million, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got 30,000. But at the
That's
same
an example
time,
of what we were talking about earlier, though.
But again,
shooting your shot and taking, knowing what's right, what's in your heart, and going for it.
aim big, and but at least we're aiming at something.
Yeah.
So, I remember sitting down and we did that, and I remember, that was grueling. Like, that was tough. We were sleeping in tents, sleeping outside on the concrete. But whatever we did to keep that cipher going. Shout out to my boy Enrique, who was like, keep the cipher going, dog. Like, he'll just come in at random times, just trying to keep it going. And that's why, like you said, it was a collective of people, not just people at Break Free, but people from the city that were supporting. It was coming on the news, and we had people dropping us off food,
every major
waters,
every major
like just coming out and covering what we're doing. But at the same time, another crazy kind of like challenge, of our vision, to keep the vision or the dream alive of Break Free, and we always have these crazy ideas in our head. And now I look at it and I'm like, man, why did we do that? But I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did. That's why I will never regret it. But at the same time,
we had over 50,
it was crazy. It was crazy.
We had close to 75 students that, with that money, we gave them full scholarships to Break Free, and they took classes for a full year for free.
Yep.
And that was an amazing, time, and they were able to come. And then kind of going along the timeline after that, we came back to our original location after that. So after our lease ended in the Heights, we came back to our original location here in South Houston, which, is the area Moy and I grew up in, and is not, considered an affluent area or an area for the arts, and there's not many, big dance studios or arts programs here. So,
but it's home base. This is where we come from.
It's home base, but we switched back here, and we knew that this is where we had to come back in order to grow our program, and we switched back to our current programming now, where we offer break-in, we offer DJing, we offer art, with our great instructors and our great staff, and we've enacted a lot of structure into how we do things, and our curriculum, we've expanded on it, and we've built it now to the point where we have close to 150 students that come here on a consistent basis and are committed for an entire year. So that's the point we're at now. And, I think going back to the area and us moving back here and us being able to retain a student body of 150 students, I think that's one of the many reasons why now we've decided, and you specifically decided, to franchise out and start enacting Break Free in different parts of the country, eventually different parts of the world. And, basically, like in South Houston, in this little warehouse, tucked away right off 45, our main highway, we're able to get people who travel 45 minutes through grueling Houston traffic, come as far as Lake Jackson, like an hour away, Humboldt, an hour away, and they come because Break Free is so unique. And not even Break Free, just breaking is unique. And they found a program where the essence of breaking and the spirit of breaking, and people who are professional breakers specifically can teach that, and it's not offered anywhere else. And it just made us realize how necessary it is to be enacted around the world, and just
Yeah.
through the positive impact we've seen had on so many of our
Well,
kids.
especially nowadays, we use the word millennials, right? Where everyone is getting, caught up with the new. You know what I'm saying? So, not every, kid or youth or even adults want to, follow basketball, baseball, or soccer, or whatever. Now they're into art, music, and dance. So now, why not, create something that we can offer to them that's something different. It's just like us. I mean, you played ball, I played ball, like growing up.
Yeah, we'll hoop you up on the court, by the way. Yeah.
So like,
Tell them.
yeah, we probably would. Look at my face. Look. But anyways, like we grew up playing ball, and we never thought that breaking was going to be the thing that changed our lives, but it did. And I think that, just like we always say, if it could happen to us, it could happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
So at least we have a place that we can offer these programs that's something different, And again, going back to this new era and this new wave of life and the way things are changing, people want to do something different. And breaking is that uniqueness. DJing is that uniqueness. Art is that uniqueness. MCing is that uniqueness. And my son, he's not a b-boy, but he loves dancing. He loves making music. He loves this. He loves being a part of that culture. He doesn't necessarily know a lot about the culture, but he's involved. Like, he's involved naturally.
Every single kid.
But see, that's my point.
One way or form is tied to hip hop culture.
That's my point, is that it's a whole new era. And so now that there are programs or spaces that, places that, offer it, it's cool. It's cool, and that's why you were talking about franchising, but that's why it's been, that now that we have created Break Free to be sustainable and a successful business. It's that time
so
to make sure.
Kind of detail, franchise timeline, expectations, what's being enacted right now.
Yeah. So so currently, well, let me go back here. So, it's always been a goal. It's always been a goal to kind of put Break Free hip hop schools all over the place, right? Whether it was nationally or internationally, it's always been a goal but the number one goal first was to make sure that we can get Break Free to a place where we have a very solid program that generates great work, but good revenue and good success
for the owners.
And so, it's hard. It's hard to create something like that. It's easy to say, I'm going to open up a dance studio. But, there's a lot of dance studios that struggle. There's a lot of studios. We've struggled so many times, what I mean? But at the same time, it's like we're still learning, we're still growing. But I wanted to create something that people, hip-hop, or I say hip-hop enthusiasts that wanted to come in and be part of a growing hip-hop community and offer it to their city or to their country or wherever, that we have a program that we can just literally just toss over.
Yeah.
Like everything on paper. I sat with you here, a few weeks ago, solidifying a 75-page operations manual, for Kansas City. And shout out to Shug Easy and Kevin, who are opening our first official franchise in Kansas City in January.
Yep.
But that's always been the goal, is to create a program. Basically, we put it on paper and we can hand over and say, hey, this is it. This is the guide to everything that Break Free does, and you can do it too. Obviously, it's not like you just follow this book and bam, it's successful. No, you got to put some hard work. You got to be committed. You got to be dedicated to it. But that's always been a goal, And so, moving forward, I know we got Kansas City in January, but we're in discussions with other
cities,
other cities that want to open up, and hopefully we can lock those in and make that happen. Because not saying that Break Free, has it made, but at the same time, we took the time to create curriculums for every respected art form, right? For breaking, DJing, and
18-page breaking curriculum,
18-page DJ. There you go, 18-page breaking curriculum, 18-page DJ program. Same thing for the art, and looking back at that, it's just like you can question it. You can be like, well, how are you going to teach? How can you teach me how to break? If you look at our program, it's very easy to follow, and you can make it your own, but it has everything that is laid out in the foundation of what we do for you to teach. Now, modify it and make it your own, but at the same time there are guidelines.
Yeah.
And that's the framework. We've built a framework that we can really, toss over to somebody who wants to become an owner of Break Free and take it upon themselves to create a generation of b-boys, artists, DJs in their cities. And so we're on the verge, and we're at the forefront of doing something amazing. And people can knock it all they want, but the work is really it's showing itself, and it's producing amazing talent and amazing revenue and success for ourselves and for others. And so, but even with that, it's not just about making tons of money. It's about creating job opportunities for other people. Again, a lot of us never got taught to interview or create a resume or something like that. So if a stepping stone can be you just teaching a breaking class and that leading to something else, look at yourself. Mm-hmm. You started off teaching breaking, and now you manage the entire operation of Break Free, and
I purchased my first house with my family.
There you go.
Off of breaking.
Exactly. And for all those people that say, you can't do it, you can, right? But you have to find a way to create something sustainable. And through Break Free, we've been able to do that. And yes, again, it's still growing. It still has its leaks, and we're still going to fix it. I'm not going to say here and say, oh, Break Free is perfect. No, but we do have a solidified program that does generate income, that does generate good work, that does do all these good things. But at the same time, we can only advance it with our commitment and our hard work. So we're currently doing that now, So shout out to Kansas City again, Suge Easy and Kevin.
January 2019,
who took it upon themselves to believe in the mission and the vision of Break Free.
Yeah.
And are now owners of Break Free Hip Hop School Kansas City. And, and to anybody else that's interested, info@breakfreeworldwide.com. Shoot us an email. We'll give you any information you need. Or if you just need advice, we're cool with that too. Follow us at Break Free Worldwide on Instagram and Twitter. We're constantly growing everything Break Free does. We have a lot more followers on our Break Free Houston, which is our hip hop school here in Houston. But Worldwide is the main agency where you want to keep up to date with everything that's happening, whether it's franchising, whether it's management, whether it's events or anything that we're doing, bookings, at Break Free Worldwide. Tell your friends and family, because there's a lot of things that we're doing,
I wanted you to expand on another component of Break Free Worldwide, but to kind of wrap up the franchise aspect of it, we're also opening up our second location in Northwest Houston, January 2019.
Yep.
So we already have a great team, a great staff prepared for that, and it's something that's needed. If you've ever been to Houston, you know how spread out it is, and like I told you, we have people coming from as far as Northwest, which is like, we're in Southeast, so it's opposite side of Houston. So we'll be opening that in January 2019, and hopefully in other parts of Houston and in most parts of Houston by as these years to come. So I'm excited for that, and to kind of add my piece into that, what's the reason for franchises and what it does is I think it's necessary, and I've always said this, and a tagline that I use and that I came up with for our 24/7 cipher that we use for marketing is that hip-hop education is the most powerful culture of impact for youth worldwide.
I agree.
And it's absolutely necessary if it really is, and what I say is true, and I believe it's true, like around the world, through my travel. How many countries have you been to?
64.
I've been to, not
2.
that many.
2.
No, I've been to around 20. I've been around 20 different countries around the world, and places that you would never think that you would find hip hop culture. You will find it literally in every.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised you go to Antarctica and you see some b-boy penguins hitting some backspins. For real, straight up. But seriously, I believe it's the most powerful culture of impact for youth worldwide. And if that is true, then there definitely needs to be, if it's not Break Free, there needs to be hip-hop education in every single city. So we're taking the liberty to do that. And I think as it grows and as the years come by, and I really think ahead on so many levels, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the impact and the ways that you'll start to see how the scene grows, how individuals grow, how people are able to provide for their families. So I'm super excited, and you always say if it can happen for us, it can happen for you. But like I know it will happen for the people who are involved with hip hop education.
You just have
in so
to
many ways.
keep going. You have to keep going, and again, that can go on forever, and ever about just this topic alone, but I do want to say this, that whether it's franchising or just kind of mobile programming, taking it in our, whether it's your hands or our hands to extend our programming across the world, even if it's not a standalone hip hop school, but taking kind of the idea of breaking classes or DJ classes, which I'm sure happen all over the place. Just keep doing them. Keep doing them. They're an absolute necessity, because there's a lot of people looking for something else. And I know I said that already, but it's the truth.
Yep.
There's a lot of kids that are looking for something else we can do. And speaking on that, I remember specifically parents walking in here and they'll be like, man, I tried, taking my son here. I tried taking my daughter here, and they wouldn't do it. We tried karate, we tried basketball, but then they came here, and it's just like they're a whole new person.
Yep.
And that's the idea of break free. They broke free.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that can happen anywhere, right? And that's the dope part about it. And not just youth, but adults. We got our adult programming that is thriving just like any other program. And
Yep.
so it's constantly growing, and there's people that are just looking for something additional and something fun to do that could essentially turn into something bigger and better.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap up and go into the other aspects so we detailed the timeline, the history, where we're at now, shed some light, and hopefully gave you perspective for all hopeful artists out there who are looking to do something similar and just provide, and maybe have not found their way yet. But Break Free Worldwide is kind of the culmination of all this, right? So
Yeah.
we detailed the franchise aspect of it, but what are the other components of Break Free Worldwide that are enacted still and have we can look forward to be flourishing in the future?
Yeah, so essentially Break Free Worldwide operates as kind of the umbrella, right? We're the controlling company of Break Free Hip Hop School. Then we have our apparel, which is CYE Lifestyle. Make sure you follow that. That's a brand new account that we just opened up on Instagram at CYE Lifestyle.
Rocking the hat.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get that lesson hat, available online. So, and even with that brand, we want to make sure that it's for everybody, not just B-boys and B-girls and DJs, but everything. And
Grandma.
there's always something.
Your grandpa.
Your cat, your dog, anybody. There's always something even behind the brands that we're putting out. If you look at my hat, it says lesson and it has a keyhole. A lot of people ask like, why is that keyhole there? But essentially, it's basically that we have the keys to life's lessons,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we're always trying to search and trying to find a way to open a door.
It's up to you to turn it,
So
baby.
it's in our hands. And so even with our apparel, we're trying to find ways to kind of market a good message. So we have the hip hop school, we have CYE Lifestyle. We also created a really dope program that we're doing with Monster Energy, which is the retailtainment, which is we go out and and we get the Monster B-boys, including ourselves, and go out there and do performances for retailers and Monster Energy's partners, and that's a really cool program because we get to shed light with this other community.
Yeah.
But they're always super supportive, man.
Shout
And-
out to Beast Boogie Anthony from
Yeah.
Coro Crew, who heads that program.
Exactly.
Follow him. You'll see the travels that he does. They drove to Bumbershoot Festival in Seattle, 36 hours
Yeah,
away.
we've been driving all over the country. So, we got that side of things, and we have our just essentially our mobile programming where we have after school programs, in different schools throughout the city with our partner Young Audiences, and even some with YMCA, including ourselves, that kind of we get our own, but at the same time our mobile programming is also thriving and flourishing, taking what Break Free does in-house and putting it in after school programs, right? And so just with those alone essentially is creating such a great sustainable business for Break Free Worldwide.
Yeah.
And with that, we've been able to contract I don't know how many
Management platform.
artists. Yeah, and then we have the management platform where we're managing artists now, athletes, in trying to find a professional way to handle their bookings and their gigs. And so we serve as a management platform as well. And then who knows, we might add on something else, but we're growing.
Yeah.
We're growing, and that's the beauty of it. And so we're not just a hip hop school, we're way beyond that. And again, it's always been about creating opportunities for others.
Yeah. I know this could be a whole nother episode, but we got a lot of B-boys and B-girls watching, and I know they would love to know. We can kind of precursor another episode where we speak more in detail about this, but I
Yeah.
know people love to hear about the Monster B-boy team and Monster Breakers.
Yeah, for
Sorry,
sure.
not the Monster B-boy team.
Shout
Monster
out to
Breakers.
the Monster Energy Breakers.
We have Maka Malik, who's the first Monster Energy B-girl.
Yeah, we got Maka, we got Kareem, we got Gravity, we got Zeku, we got Box One, we got Tata, we got Jeffro, myself, and Jeremy. And even with the Monster Breaking program, like we're even, in the process of trying to expand that and do more with that. So, little by little, slowly but surely, we'll get there. But we've already been able to accomplish so many amazing things, and the team has won countless events, and we also lost them. That's part of the game. But at the same time, we're out there representing and doing the things that the way we do them, and proud of everybody on the team, making sure that they go out there and just kill it. But just with that alone, we're always trying to expand and grow that. So the future is bright. The future is bright for everything breaking, whether it's through Break Free or Monster.
Yeah, I can give a little insight, like just being a part of the team, and I haven't really shared this a lot with people. People do come up and ask me, and I'm more than willing to share in person. But being a part of Monster Breakers and being a sponsored athlete with Monster is something that I never thought would have happened. Dialing back, I never thought I would be an artist, more or less a paid artist from a major company, and a company like Monster that not a lot of people within this culture and this scene understand as it's such an awesome and cool company.
Yeah.
And you getting to know the people who are involved and the opportunities it provides me and the places it puts me. And besides the sponsored athletes, you can ask, the B-boys who are part of the retail program or some of the people who have done the shows with us. Like, it's such an awesome time, and the people who work a part of it, and even just the vision behind Monster Energy as a company itself. It aligns with hip hop and it aligns with breaking and b-boying, and people might not think that, but I'm able to make a living and get paid off of what I love to do, and the platform is provided for me, and I'm being built and growing alongside a team of awesome individuals who I knew some of them before, but now we've really, a part of this culture. A lot of people like to debate about crews and super crews and is it real crew or not. I put that, I used to think about that when I was young, but I put that in the category of, man, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who other people consider your crew. It's who you consider crew, and who you rep and you go alongside with.
And,
so
and
these guys have grown to be my crew, and
and honestly, you shouldn't have to
explain
that. You shouldn't have to explain that to anybody. That's, again, when you learn to just kind of believe in yourself, regardless of what people say, what people feel, how you feel, or how people make you feel, you just got to keep doing what you do. That's the moral of this entire message, right? Just keep doing what you do. And that's just the honest truth. Essentially, that's going to make you feel better. You're going to feel more confident. It's going to make you want to accomplish a lot more, be self-motivated. You have to be self-motivated in this. You have to. Because if you're looking for motivation in somewhere else, you're going to struggle, because somebody will give it to you, and then they'll take it right back. And then what happens then? Are you lost? You confused now? No, you have to find a way to motivate yourself. But shout out to all the Monster Energy Breakers, man. You guys are killing it. Proud of you guys.
Silverback Open will be there this weekend. Shout out Pro Breaking Tour.
Yeah, shout out to Pro Breaking Tour, Silverback Open, UDEF, Urban Dance Education Foundation.
So 1-on-1 for $15,000, I believe. Or I don't know the prize money this year, but it's a 1-on-1.
They give away a lot of money. A lot of money. 3-on-3, one-on-one B-boy, open B-boy, B-girl.
We'll be represented. We'll be in the ciphers, as always, getting down.
For sure.
Forward to it, so.
But we appreciate everybody tuning in for Break Free Worldwide. First podcast is our very first podcast. We look to do them every Tuesday live at 6 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you tell your friends and your family. We'll always have different guests on, and we'll always have topics, but at the same time, just kind of let it flow and organically create positive discussion and debate. that will hopefully shed light onto the community in terms of trying to impact you guys out there. And so that's what we're trying to do with this platform. And
It's
so
only natural, man.
yeah.
I mean, we're here every single day. We're working, we're growing. So we feel like it was only natural to share this with people who want to learn and who want to grow with this too. And I know this was very business oriented and timeline history oriented,
Yeah.
but we would detail everything from our opinions on breaking, why we break, our philosophies on breaking. We'll have DJs, B-boys, B-girls, artists, everybody.
Comedians, whoever wants to jump
Dogs,
on, then
pets.
that just makes sense and wants to shed some light and some knowledge. Like, yo, hit us up. info@breakfreeworldwide.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter @breakfreeworldwide. We're doing it for you guys, y'all. We appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, so be sure to subscribe as well. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m.
Peace,
Much
y'all.
love, y'all. Break
Much
free.
love.